Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Jeff Fontaine joins us. He's Executive Director of the Central Nevada Water Authority and the Humboldt River Basin Water Authority. Here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome to the Winnemucca Big R.
Hi, I'm John Walker. Welcome to Big R Lovelock.
Hi, I'm Rich Martin. Welcome to Fallon Big R.
My name is Braden. Welcome to Big R Fernley.
Hi, I'm Kelly. Welcome to Big R Sparks.
Carson Valley Inn, it's your place for the good times. Carson Valley Inn.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low, and our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way, because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome back to the program Jeff Fontaine. It has been a long time since you've been on the program, so really pleased to have you here. He's Executive Director now of the Central Nevada Water Authority and the Humboldt River Basin Water Authority. Pleasure to have you back, sir.
Thank you, Sam. It has been a while, and thank you for inviting me back to sit here with you and talk about water today.
Well, you are very welcome. So let's start out with what is the purview of these two organizations?
Right, so the Central Nevada Regional Water Authority consists of 9 member counties, rural counties in the central, it's called the Central Hydrographic Region of Nevada. It's the largest of the state's water basins, if you will, super basins. And really, for the Central Nevada Regional Water Authority, much like the Humboldt River Basin Water Authority, it's about protecting their water resources to, maintain their quality of life, for their environment, and more importantly, I think, for their future development. As you know, in rural Nevada, it's boom or bust in a lot of communities, and they need to make sure that they have water resources to support their growth and development.
Okay, well, let's start with the Central Nevada Water Authority. So if you were to draw a circle around, what are the counties that are your members?
I know you were going to ask me that, so let's see if I'll start alphabetically. Churchill,
okay,
Elko, Esmeralda, Eureka, Humboldt, Lander, Nye, Pershing, and White Pine. So that's 9 counties.
Okay, so
it's a large geographic region. The land area of those 9 counties is roughly 3/4 of the state of Nevada.
Yeah, and Pete Goakachia would say, "Hey, I wish my district were that small."
Really,
it's a very large area. So let's talk about some of the issues that are going on right now. A lot of discussion over what's happening in White Pine County with this development where they're trying to generate electricity there. It's a $2.5 billion project. Are your members in support? Are they concerned? What are
we've had discussions about that project. In fact, we met last Friday, and that was brought up by one of the White Pine County Commissioners, Lori Carson. We don't have a position, and I think at this point we're just waiting to see how things develop. As you can imagine, for a project of that magnitude, especially one that involves water and energy, there are a lot of complexities to a project like that. There's positives and there's negatives. And so I think that project is still really in the early stages of development. So we'll keep an eye on that. And really, we're going to take our cue from White Pine County. We support things that the county supports, and we oppose things that the county opposes.
You know, one of the things that's been very interesting over the years, and I know I'm on diplomatic fire ground here, but discussion over the years was that the Southern Nevada Water Authority bought all these ranches and water rights that go with them over in eastern Nevada. And the initial idea, and this is probably 20 plus years ago, was to build a pipeline to move that water to Southern Nevada, to Las Vegas and Clark County. Then the Clark County Southern Nevada Water Authority said, no, we're not going to do this, and everything was put off. I'm still not convinced by the fact that they still own the ranches, but that's probably a topic for another day. But then what came up was that Utah was looking to take that water from their side of the basin and utilize it in Utah. What was the discussion around all that?
Well, there are proposals on the Utah side to move water, not necessarily, of course, to southern Nevada, but to southern Utah to support growth there, because southern Utah is also a growing area.
Huge, yes.
It is, and the Central Nevada Regional Water Authority did file a protest on a proposed project to move some water on a interbasin transfer project in southern Utah. And we were concerned about that project because there could be impacts to the Nevada side of that basin. I mean, groundwater basins don't stop at the state borders, and so we did file a protest on that. From what we can tell, things are happening like that all over the southwest United States, and it's for obvious reasons, growth and really diminishing water supplies.
One of the things that's also interesting about this eastern Nevada water is that it's deep geologic water that was discovered during the MX missile sighting that was happening during the Reagan administration. People can Google this if they don't know about it. But it's a vast pool of water that dripped down to below the surface millions of years ago. But it's a one-time water use, right? It's once it's gone, it's gone. So the idea of depending on this for a long term is not necessarily a good idea.
We agree. Those are water reserves that have developed over millennial, and they're not going to be recharged. The perennial yield there is not the same as you would have established in the alluvial aquifers, where you do get replenishment from snowmelt, from precipitation, and more immediate recharge of the groundwater basin. That's not the case in those deeper groundwater aquifers.
Right, and really, are they the remains of ancient Lake Lahontan, in a way?
Well, I don't know about that. I'm not enough of a geologist.
You weren't around then.
No, I wasn't around then, but it's possible.
Let's talk about what the uses are now and potentially for the future for rural water within that Central Nevada Water Authority district. I'm presuming agriculture still remains obviously a big part, Diamond Valley especially. What other projects are potentially lining up that would give growth to those areas?
So traditionally and of course today, agriculture and mining are the two key economic drivers in rural Nevada. And that's the case in both the Central Hydrographic region as well as the Humboldt region. And by the way, the Humboldt River Basin Water Authority is 5 counties, a subset of the Central Nevada Regional Water Authority, and they are focused exclusively on the Humboldt River corridor and the groundwater basins associated with the Humboldt River and its tributaries. And so in both regions, it's agriculture and mining more so in the Humboldt region, because the Humboldt region extends into Elko, Lander, Eureka counties as well, and encompasses a lot of the mining areas. Still important economic drivers. What we're seeing, however, is as pressures increase for water rights, for just the cost of pumping water, and quite frankly, in many cases, the lack of available water in certain years, particularly in the Humboldt region, because the downstream farmers in Lovelock, they rely on that flow in the Humboldt River, and in many years, well, enough years, there isn't any flow coming in or diminished flow, and so those reservoirs at the southern end of the Humboldt River don't get replenished and they can't irrigate. So we're seeing things like more light manufacturing. We are aware of at least one other project in Pershing County, which is a salmon farm.
Yes.
Called West Coast Salmon, so we've been working with the project proponents for that. I think more and more of the farmers are looking at ways to perhaps either lease or sell their water rights for more, sort of commercial or light industrial applications.
Yeah, because I mean, even with California, even though it's the breadbasket of the West, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you don't have the water to be growing almonds, for example, that are such heavy water consumers. One of the other things on the Humboldt River is that the farmers are still using flood irrigation, correct?
In some cases, particularly in the Pershing County Lovelock area, yes.
So are we seeing the best practices that the Southern Nevada Water Authority has put in place in Southern Nevada being used in other areas of the state? Because I know that we're not seeing that with Tumwa, and one of the reasons in Washoe County is because they don't have the money that the Southern Nevada Water Authority has to be able to pay for buying back grass and other things like that.
Well, in rural Nevada, you don't have the same water usage as you do, of course, in the Southern Nevada Water Authority area. What they're doing in Southern Nevada is remarkable. They've really set the bar at a very high level for water conservation. But remember, they're talking about being able to reuse water through their return flow credit system and basically replacing grass with turf. All of those things are really great conservation measures. You don't have that type of use or necessarily application of water in the rural areas. It's all about irrigation, and so there are areas where farmers can improve their irrigation systems. There are systems that are called low energy systems or low spray application systems, where instead of shooting water out of a pivot or a wheel line that goes into the air, you see the rainbows, and then some of it evaporates and some of it hits the ground. Lower application and lower sort of more drip type applications, so you can improve the efficiency of that water.
And people may not realize this. We have a lot of viewers in Southern Nevada who may not realize that there's a lot of ranching that goes on in the Silver State. Winnemucca Farms would be a good example of that up in Humboldt County. There is excess water at times in the Humboldt River, and there is discussion about selling some of that water to other users. How does the authority feel about that?
Well, there are proposals to do just that, and we have protested at least one of those proposals that has been sort of in the queue for review by the state engineer's office for, several years. We believe that the excess water could be put to use. The question is how and when. The occurrence of water in excess of the needs of the Humboldt River water users is a pretty rare event, where you actually have water flowing out of the river into the Humboldt sink. And in order to do that, it's going to require some significant infrastructure improvements. Who pays for that, and who manages that water, and how is that actually going to be used? So in theory, capturing that excess flood water is a good idea. I think the questions really are more along the lines of how is that going to be developed and managed.
What's the role of the mines in all of this? Because they have to remove water from their mining operations to be able to make those safe. So they're dumping out a large volume of water into the river as well.
Well, the mines mostly return their water through back to the groundwater to the aquifer through what's typically a recharge infiltration basin, a RIB, and those are acres and acres of sort of shallow recharge basins where the mining, the dewatering from the mines are applied to those infiltration basins, and then it percolates back into the groundwater. In some cases, they do more direct injection through injection wells, And there still may be a mine or two that discharges their dewatering water back into the river, but I don't think that's necessarily the case for most of the mines.
One of the interesting things that happened with water usage in the state over the last couple of years has been the lining of the canal between the Truckee River and Fallon. And Fernley was utilizing and had the ability to utilize water that was leaking from that canal over the years. I had heard years ago that it was half the water that was being delivered to Fallon was lost along the way, but apparently that was not true. But still, it was a significant enough amount of water. Do you know where things are in terms of Fernley being able to obtain water to compensate for the water that is no longer being seeped out?
I really can't speak to
because they need water.
It's probably in the courts. I would imagine lawsuits were filed, and I'm pretty certain there were lawsuits filed over that, but I don't know the disposition of where that is today, Sam.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. Much more to talk about because it's water. There's always lots to talk about in the West. We'll be right back with Jeff Fontaine after this time out.
Safety is the #1 priority for the trucking industry. Over $7 billion a year is spent on technology like this electronic eye that will apply the brakes automatically. But the most important factor for safety is the truck driver. These hardworking men and women who safely move over 70% of our nation's freight and 94% of Nevada's. We thank you because trucks move America forward.
Take a look at Pro Group Management and see how your workers' comp requirements can be met head-on. By taking a proactive approach, Pro Group can assure that your company is meeting or exceeding state and federal standards. As you move forward in your industry, Pro Group moves with you, simplifying regulatory tasks, clearing the way so you can get the job done and look to your future success. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Jeff Fontaine. He's the Executive Director of the Central Nevada Water Authority and the Humboldt River Basin Water Authority as well. So going back to Fernley just for a moment, you know, they have potential for tremendous growth, especially if these lands bills pass. And yet the thing they're short of, as so many areas are in Nevada, is water. So what are the authorities' thoughts on bringing water? And I kind of know off the record what your thoughts are, but share them with the public, if you will, about, you know, being able to transfer water in from other locations.
Well, it's a great question, Sam, because it is a primary concern for both the Humboldt River Basin Water Authority and Central Nevada Regional Water Authority. In fact, both of those regional water authorities were formed, I don't know, 20 plus years ago for the express purpose of trying to avoid having interbasin water transfers out of their region. And so that remains a priority for today. And look, interbasin transfers of water are not necessarily a bad thing. You can start with one of the very first interbasin transfers, and that's Marlette Lake into Virginia City. Right. It's important for growth and development in the state. We recognize that. It's an issue where we believe, and really our position is that the local, the county or local government where the basin of origin is really needs to have a say in how that occurs or whether it even occurs, because once you take that water out of that basin in a county and you move it to another county or another location, that's lost forever to that county for any future growth and development. And again, back to my original discussion or comment about what is the mission of both CNRWA and HRBWA? It's to protect their water resources for future growth and development.
Winnemucca is going to see about a 25% increase in population, according to the head of Thacker Pass. It came out from Denver to do the show here a few months ago. And so they're going to need water for their own development, but the mine itself is going to need additional water. Where does that come from?
I don't know about the mine because that's outside of both of those regions. As far as within the community itself for growth and development within Winnemucca and surrounding area for housing, things of that nature, we understand that there is water resources available to the city of Winnemucca and Humboldt County, but I don't know that they've really gone into that type of analysis at this point. But one thing to remember, Sam, and that is the Central Nevada Regional Water Authority back in 2019 requested, and Senator Kokachia sponsored a bill, Senate Bill 150, to require all counties and cities to develop and maintain water resource management plans for that very purpose, and that is, take an inventory of what you have available to you, both legally and technically, as far as your water resources are concerned. Does that serve your current population, and does it serve your future demand? And if it doesn't serve your future demand, you need to develop a plan on how you're going to provide water resources and water service for future growth and development.
Okay, so how does that work if you're not in favor of water importation?
Well, I didn't say I wasn't in favor of water importation, but I think the key here is that the government or the locality where that water exists needs to have a strong role and say in how that water is used or exported.
Yes, which sounds only fair. Sure. Let's take another break. We'll come back more with Jeff Fontaine after this timeout.
Story County is leading Nevada. Home of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, Google, Tesla, Panasonic, and other world-leading companies. Story County provides thousands of tech, advanced manufacturing, and logistics careers for Nevadans. We're diversifying and driving Nevada's economy and generating millions in tax revenue and billions in economic activity across northern Nevada. Story County is leading Nevada's future.
Turn your clunker into a caddy during the Cadillac and Cash giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Weekly cash drawings including $5,000 cash and one top prize of $10,000. Win the grand prize of a Cadillac CT4 or $40,000 in cash. Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Jeff Fontaine. He's the Executive Director of the Central Nevada Water Authority and the Humboldt River Basin Water Authority as well. Just to go back to Thacker Pass for a minute, and you said it's outside of the Humboldt District Authority, but that's a 40-year project. I was actually shocked to realize that. I mean, I was thinking it was maybe 10, 20 years, but it's actually 4 phases. So that's going to be an incredible amount of water that's going to be needed. There's going to have to be water coming from somewhere to be able to support that. And it's a national security issue because the federal government has said we need the lithium, and they are making everything possible for these kind of projects to move forward.
Sam, I don't really know a lot of the details about that particular project, but one thing that I do know is that is a lithium being extracted from clay. That is different, for example, than the lithium that is being extracted in Clayton Valley and Silver Peak, which is currently the only operating lithium mining operation in the United States. And so in the case of Clayton Valley, they are actually extracting lithium from groundwater. In Thacker Pass, I don't think that's the case. I think it's more, clay type material where it's more of a conventional mining operation. So I don't know how much water they need. I haven't gone through the documents to determine that, but I'm sure they've got that figured out, because typically these mines plan out that long in the future and figure out what they need in terms of their water.
Pete Goicoechea is gone from the legislature, which for all of us, for many, many reasons, is really sad. But Dr. Robin Titus has been doing her best to learn as much as she can from Pete. Have you had conversations with her?
I have not had conversations with Dr. Titus, and I will say as well that we are going to sorely miss Senator Goicoechea. He's been a strong proponent, not just for rural Nevada, but for water issues, and has personally been a great assistance for me and for both the Central Nevada Regional Water Authority and HRBWA. He was a member of the Humboldt River Basin Water Authority Board of Directors during his time as a county commissioner in Eureka County. So I'm sure there are going to be lots of discussions with Dr. Titus and other legislators. We are also participating in the interim Joint Standing Committee of the Natural Resources and Public Lands Subcommittee as well to talk about water issues. So those discussions are taking place. And
do you anticipate changes in water law coming out of the next session?
There are discussions about some minor changes. I think that one of the big issues that people were really thinking about and possibly needing a change to had to do with conjunctive management of water, surface water, groundwater, and creating larger basins called super basins, if you will. That was pretty much settled with the Supreme Court ruling on the Lower White River flow system recently.
Well, that's where we have to leave it for now. It is great to have you back on the program and great to see you in person. And please come back.
Thank you, Sam. Really appreciate being here.
Thank you. And we'll be right back.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
7 at 7 is a newscast built for your smartphone. It's a 7-minute newscast available every weekday at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. at lvrj.com. We don't waste your time, and we give you the day's top stories.
We at the RJ have noticed some similarities between us and a certain BTS character, RJ.
Plus the latest in Las Vegas business, weather, health, and entertainment news. 7 at 7 streaming now on your smartphone.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers. You can catch us online 24 hours a day at NevadaNewsmakers.com, or you can download the podcast wherever you like to get your podcast. We'll see you on the next broadcast.